Folks, welcome back. How's everybody doing today? So I want to address what I see coming for the future right now and a lot of confusion on. I get these messages and people are asking me, Rudy, I don't understand. How come a box of 7th edition booster, how is a 7th edition booster box, which has an expected value of like $200, how is that a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 box? Rudy, how is 8th edition booster box, which has an expected value of nothing, how is that $1,000 plus $2,000 booster box? So I want to go into, there's a lot of speculation on, you'll notice these items are having a hard time being priced. You'll notice when you look at some of these illiquid, lack of supply items, you'll see prices that are $1,500, $4,000. And that's it. You got two choices. So what's happening here is the market is trying to find the actual value of it. But I want to take a second and I want to comment and I want to point you all to something to make you think about it. If you go on eBay right now, actually I think it's PWCC, there are actually a bunch of 8th edition common and uncommon cards that have been graded that are selling. I don't know if they're PSA 10s or Beckett 9s, or go on eBay. You can just hit PSA 8th edition or something and under Magic. You can figure it out. It's all over. I'll put it as a thumbnail maybe. What's interesting is these cards are selling for between $30 and $60 a card. So let's assume they're PSA 10s or Beckett 9.5s. Now, for the record, for those of you who weren't around back then, 8th edition was actually a really good print quality set. Same thing with 7th edition. These were white bordered cards with actually very consistent high quality printing standards. How we go downhill as the future unfolds with better technology, that's a different conversation. Where was that? Cutting costs? The Bob's like money? Corporate Ivy Towers? Okay. So I want to bring it to your attention that the fact that people are able, to actually open a box, take all the cards, including hundreds of commons and uncommons, send them off for grading, send them to Beckett, get a bunch of 9.5 pack fresh cards, and unlike Alpha Beta, those are actually pretty easy to get if they're packed fresh, and then sell common, uncommon cards for $50 a pop is a really big deal. It's a really big deal. And there's been a lot of speculation around Magic, if Magic's ever going to go the route of Pokemon, where Pokemon, everything's being graded. You know, in Pokemon, you have a brand new set come out. You can have Battle Styles just came out. And people are going to go after some sort of full art, fancy, flashy versions, send them off for PSA grading. And remember, Pokemon prefers PSA. Magic, I guess, is still split between Beckett and PSA. It's crazy. So Pokemon world, people will open brand new products, send them off for grading, and then sell them for huge multipliers. I do honestly believe there's going to be a time where that spills through into the Magic world. I don't know what the catalyst is going to be, if some famous person with hundreds of millions of subscribers or some famous Hollywood person. People still care about Hollywood people? I mean, does anybody care about that? Anyway, some sort of influencer with huge following maybe does a break of antiquities or legends or revised stuff like that, and they have 10, 20, 30 million subs, you know, and it could be the spark that changes Magic forever. It's very, very probable. We just don't know when it's going to occur. In a long enough time frame, in my perspective, the chances of it eventually happening are almost up to like 99%. Obviously, you can't guarantee it, but if in a long enough timetable, most events eventually come true. It is what it is, law of large numbers. And I do think we're eventually going to hit a point where the behavior is going to shift. But I'm pointing this out to you all because if you go on eBay, the fact that people can buy a sealed box, I can go and buy a $1,000 box of 8th edition, okay? Open every pack, send every card off for grading. Now, I know the grading is like a 12-month backlog. Assuming all that is back to normal in 2 years from now, I don't know. Assuming the grading is normal and it's $20 a card, even for bulk. Cheap cards are $20. I think it's less than that if you send off like 1,000 cards. But humor me, $20 a card. If you're able to sell a bunch of commons for $40, $50 a card, even if you take out your $20 in grading fee, $5 in shipping and eBay, PayPal, you're talking about netting over $20 a common card. That's a really big deal, folks. That literally means in one pack of 8th edition, let's say 8 of your common cards come back a Beckett 9.5, and you can get $50 a piece. Do the math, folks. And God help you if you actually get the really good rares. And remember, in 7th, 8th, 9th edition, they're white bordered sets, and the foils are black bordered. It was an amazing concept. I loved the angle of that. So everybody was chasing those beautiful black bordered cards in a white bordered set. It was an ingenious engineering design. And so again, if you when you pull a pack fresh foil that's black bordered from 7th or 8th edition, and you get your one foil rare in the box, holy crap, send that right off when it's packed fresh with all the oils on your hand and oxidation. And dude, you're probably going to at least get between 1 and 500, maybe up to 1,000, 2,000 if you get an exotic, if you actually get a really good card. You see what I'm saying? So it does justify the high price. That's what I'm trying to swing the conversation around to. The confusion is people are looking at things very shallow. They're just saying, the best card in the set is $50. Oh wait, I don't even think 8th edition has a 50. The best card in 8th edition is $20. What? Who would pay $1,500 for a box? Because they're not seeing the full market. They're not zooming out and looking at the potential for everything. Remember, just like on Wall Street, when you're buying into any form of collectible, any form of asset, and you're buying into a crypto thing, if you're buying into a house, you're buying into real estate, anything you buy into, you're buying into it under the assumption that it's a good place to put your money into and have your money store value and or grow as the months and years tick by. You're speculating on the future direction of whatever, direction or whatever category you're involved in. And I do believe that the prices of these sealed boxes, like 7th edition, 8th edition, these crazy numbers, these are real prices, folks. And these messages, and I see these, and people send me these screenshots, and these people, I'm not buying until the market retraces. It's all a bubble. When it comes back down, then I'll buy in. Remember, historically, bubbles don't burst when everybody says it's a bubble, and everyone's going to wait for the price to come down. There's a difference between not liking the item and not wanting to buy it because you don't like the price of the item. We talked about this the other day with Iconic Masters. Good product wasn't a good product at $250 at release. At $100, like a regular standard box, Iconic would have been a home run. Same concept. No one's arguing whether or not 7th or 8th edition and Onslaught and Legions and Scourge and all these old boxes have value and are rare. No one's arguing that. The arguments are around where the price point is at the current time in 2021. But people aren't looking at it from the perspective that people like me and people like other stores around the country or other collectors and investors who are holding sealed boxes, they're looking at it very differently. It's the same reason I've turned down offers from even patrons to sell a Weatherlight box for $3,000. I even had a patron offer $3,500 and even let me open the Weatherlight box on the channel and mail him the cards. I turned it down because right now I just don't believe that the market fully comprehends what I see in these products, especially 90s and early 2000s era boxes. I just don't feel the public agrees with me and fully sees what I see. Now, the market's realizing it in the last 6 months because we're finally starting to see extreme pricing that's really crazy looking. Stronghold, 10 grand. When I still saw a few months ago, boxes of the Dark selling for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. I'm like, dude, the Dark's a $20,000+ box. You just don't realize it yet. It's the same thing when I started buying a couple 7th edition boxes a year ago, and I was paying between $600 and $1,000 for 7th edition. And I was like, how is a 7th edition box the first set to ever have foils? And like we just talked about, God help you if you just crack the whole thing, send it for grading, and just start selling singles. There is opportunity there. And if you get lucky in 7th edition, and you hit like a foil Birds of Paradise or some sort of foil really good chase card, and you get a Beckett 9.5 or something, or a PSA 9.10, oh my goodness, well, I just paid for the whole box, and everything in the box is profit. It's all syrup. You see what I'm getting at? The problem is, I don't feel a lot of people are fully informed of the different perspectives of the people who are putting this money into it. They're viewing it differently than the average player, collector, someone who's new to the hobby. They're not looking at it and going, Antiquities, $100,000 box. What? Legends, $100,000 box. Revise, $30,000, $40,000, probably a $50,000 box one day, especially when all the dual lands and Wheel of Fortunes are all $1,000+ cards. Why not? You see what I'm saying? It sounds silly in the moment. People said the same thing 5 years ago when I started the channel, when Khans of Tarkir was $100 a box. People said it was all stupid. And you got to remember, everything is relative. It's always going to reprice and go upwards, everybody. I'm telling you.